I'm going to call to order the 2,493rd meeting of the Darien Police Commission. First order of business is accepting the minutes of May 8th.
Motion to move.
Second.
Any questions, comments, additions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Correspondence, Chief.
Yes, several pieces of correspondence for this meeting. First, we start off on a somber note. As we know, our former animal control officer, Chip Stahl, passed away last month. We received a thank you note from Mrs. Stahl from all the attendees at the services that were held in Stanford following his passing. She really just wanted to let us know how much he felt this place was special and really took care of him, and she appreciated that. So thank you to Mrs. Stahl for her letter. We also received a letter of appreciation for Officer Arbelloo, Officer Hinckley, Officer Hunt, and Sergeant Jimenez for an incident that they were called to, and they were thanked by a psychiatric nurse practitioner who was also part of the incident and dealing with a mental health situation of a young resident here in town. And she wrote that the skill sets that the officers had she really felt that they brought that to a successful conclusion. So kudos to Officer Arbelloo, Officer Hinckley, Officer Hunt, who was actually on the phone at the time, and then Sergeant Jimenez, who was in charge of all those officers. So great job by all of them. We got a thank you note from a local Girl Scout troop for Officer Cody for giving in a tour of the building. So that would be Officer Cody Harwood Smith. I believe he has 2 years on at this point, and he's putting his best foot forward, and clearly the Girl Scout troop 50250 appreciated the time they spent with him and giving a tour here at police headquarters. Well done, Officer Harwood Smith. Next, we received a letter from the head of security of the Tokenique Board of the Tokenique Association requesting the renewal and reappointment of Special Constables Sam Bacuzzi and Courtney Isaac. However, we have that listed under new business, so we'll address that vote when we get to new business.
Is Kathy not on that same?
She'll be next year, yeah. Okay. She's on a different rotation. Next, we have a thank you letter from Chief James Walsh from Norwalk PD. They held their annual memorial service on Tuesday, May 13th. Captain Hidema and I had another obligation to attend. However, Captain Mastriani spoke at their presentation, and he sent a letter thanking our involvement, not only for Captain Mastriani, but also our motor officer, Tim Budd, and also for our honor guard being present there at the ceremony. So thank you to all involved there, Captain Mastriani. And then I received a text over the holiday weekend from a Board of Selectmen member thanking the Police Commission and specifically the Marine Division for their diligent efforts in patrolling the Sound, and specifically to Ziegler's Cove. The boating public always feel comfortable when they see law enforcement resources out on the water, and our officers, I believe it was Officer Dan Arrett and Officer Kelly Thurston, were present out there patrolling Ziegler's Cove and making sure everybody was enjoying the holiday and remaining safe. So thank you to Marine Division for their efforts, and that's the end of correspondence.
All right, all good. Department activity, Catherine?
Yes, so this is from the period May 8th to May 28th, and this was prepared by Lieutenant White. So just a couple of notable incidents in that time frame. On May 8th, a Bronx, New York subject turned himself in to DPD custody for failure to appear charged. The subject originally was involved in a larceny and forgery incident from 2022, but he later failed to appear in court. He was unable to post his $120,000 bond and went to court. May of 2024, patrol officers responded to a report of a stolen motor vehicle from a resident on Hickory Lane. The victim reported that his vehicle was stolen after being left unlocked with the keys inside. The stolen vehicle was later recovered and processed for evidence. Darien detectives collected DNA evidence from the vehicle and, with the assistance of Hamden and New Haven police departments, linked the theft to a Hamden, Connecticut subject. An arrest warrant was approved by Stamford Superior Court with a core set bond of $100,000, and the suspect turned himself in on May 14th. In January of 2025, patrol officers received a report of a larceny from the director at the residence at Selleck's Woods. The theft involved a resident's wallet, which contained a credit card, and the victim reported unauthorized charges totaling over $10,000 across multiple states. Following an extensive investigation by the Detective Division, a New York female subject was identified as the suspect. An arrest warrant was issued, and the suspect was extradited from New York and processed at the Darien Police Department on multiple charges.
From what I understand, some good old-fashioned detective work by the Bureau on that one. Well done.
Yes. Some statistics during that time: we had 2 domestic disturbance incidents, no arrests, 3 identity theft incidents, 2 motor vehicle burglaries of 2 unlocked cars, no stolen motor vehicles during that time frame. There were 34 motor vehicle accidents, 2 with injury, 2 involving a pedestrian or a bicyclist, and 4 were on private property. There were 126 traffic stops and 730 calls for service. Some training that happened during that time frame as well. Detective Silva and Officer Thurston hosted a 4-session rape aggression defense program in May for Darien High School aged females. The classes were held at the Darien High School.
How was the turnout for that? I'm sure you personally have done that in the past, probably, the training as well,
So
right?
for the teen-aged females, it wasn't as popular as the adults,
Okay.
unfortunately.
I was there on Thursday serving dinner for the theater kids, and I saw, like, they had a decent group.
They had a decent
Yeah,
group.
it was, well, definitely well attended.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
6 officers and 1 dispatcher successfully completed 5 sessions of resiliency coaching training course offered at no cost to the department, led by clinicians from Silver Hill Hospital. This was the second cohort of a program that was started in 2024. The training division is about to complete its annual use of force, taser, OC spray, baton, handcuffing, and defensive tactics training sessions for all personnel. In May, Officer LaCarey graduated from the 63rd class of the Fairfield County Detective Conference that was hosted at Newtown Police Department. And our accident investigation team attended a 4-day conference where they received additional accident reconstruction training.
Any comments?
First, I'd like to echo Commissioner Cunningham's comments. All 3 of these incidents under the notable incidents section was, only made possible through diligence of our detective division, and I can't speak on their behalf enough. There's cases, I say week in and week out, that some may feel that we've forgotten about, and we continue to pursue them, we continue to follow up, and not only through good old-fashioned police work, but also some newer technology. We are following up on these cases. Just because they're property crimes, or just because they may otherwise seem insignificant, they're not insignificant to us. So kudos again to the detective bureau.
I'll give an example of that. I stopped by the Darien Y last week or 2 weeks ago, and a gentleman just came up to me and said, "Thank your detectives. I had my wallet stolen from, a locker at the Y a while back, and it, went to court, and somebody reached out to him, and he was very thankful." And I said, "Oh yeah, our detectives, as minor as it may seem, they do follow up and end up making arrests." So
Do their best.
A couple other points along with the training the officers are going through it. We're starting a department-wide firearms training for spring qualifications. Is that correct, Kevin?
Yes.
I believe that's just been underway. It wasn't listed here. Requires a lot of time on our firearms instructors' parts, and they do a great job. We also had the Memorial Day Parade this past weekend, as the Commission knows, and we did not have too many difficulties with that. I think we're waiting some feedback for an after-action report, but it went pretty smooth, no major incidents. So well done to Captain Hedema and her team of Lieutenant Moore, and I believe Lieutenant White played a big role. I also participated in a hate crimes presentation a week ago with the State Police Hate Crimes Investigative Units. Commissioner Hayes was there, as well. It was well attended. There were some topics that were a little controversial, but it was good conversation, and I think that was the idea behind the presentation, is to provide a level of understanding not only to the community, but what we're seeing, how they can report it, and what's being done. And I think there were some takeaways from the presentation I was fortunate to be a part of. Appreciated that. Then lastly, if you could just speak on the internship that we're about to start off. I know the commission's aware that we have, that Captain Hedema has been working hard on getting it up and running. We've dotted all our I's and crossed our T's, and we're just about to start it. So.
Right, so our intern is starting next Monday. It looks like she will do about 9 weeks with us. A couple days a week, a few hours a day. She'll be looking at all disciplines of the department, anywhere from patrol to our records division to accreditation, just to learn the ins and outs of police work. And we're happy to have her.
I think it's a great program. Good idea.
Excited to meet her.
That's all I have.
Anything else from you guys? Nothing? Public comment, seeing no one from the public here, we will go to old business. Building issues update, anything?
No new updates since the last meeting, Commissioner. Nothing major to make note of.
Okay, we will not dwell on that. We would like no updates. Traffic issues, anything notable?
Nothing for today.
We are breezing through. New business. Chief?
New business, yes. As the commission knows, Lieutenant Nicholas Aranzulu, who for the last several years commanded our detective division, has put in his request for retirement. His last day was May 22nd, and his hope and anticipation is for the police commission to approve his retirement. I recommend that and congratulate Lieutenant Aranzulu on a very accomplished career. If the commission is not aware, he was our first K-9 handler in the Darien Police Department's history. He was involved in several other specialized units, the recipient of many awards throughout his career. And although we're sad to see him go, we know that there's life after DPD, and we're hoping to hear another success story from retired Lieutenant Nick Aranzulu, and we wish the best to him and his family in their next chapter.
Here. And
And we do need to
motion.
vote on that, yes.
With reluctance, but I will make a motion that we accept the request for retirement from Lieutenant Nicholas Aranzulu, effective May 22nd.
Second, on a distinguished career.
Indeed.
Well done.
All those in favor? Okay.
And next, as mentioned in correspondence, we have 2 tokenie constables that are up for their appointments to be renewed. That's tokenie constables Saverio Bacuzzi and Courtney Isaac. I make a recommendation to the commission to renew their appointments for another 2 years.
We need an official motion.
We do, yes.
I move that we approve the the extension? What is the technical?
2-year renewal.
2-year renewal
Appointment as constables.
for both of the Tokenique Association constables.
Second.
All those in favor? Lieutenant Mulcahy.
Yes, and, you know, as a consequence of Lieutenant Aranzulu's retirement, there creates a vacancy in the detective division. Captain Hedema opened it up to all our mid-management staff, which would include our lieutenants, and Lieutenant Mulcahy expressed interest in being transferred to that division in order to command it. He was interviewed by myself and Captain Hedema, and we believe he's extremely capable and would be a great successor to Lieutenant Aranzulu. So we don't need to vote on that, but we just wanted to advise the commission of that transfer of personnel. Also attached to that would be that Lieutenant Mulcahy, who's going to start his new role on June 2nd, which is Monday, that opens up his former spot in the administrative side as administrative lieutenant in charge of accreditation, civilian staff, a bunch of other items that I call the junkyard of the police department. So Captain Hedema.
I'm sure you're marketing that spot very well.
Well, thankfully, we do have some interest. And the timeline is not yet up for lieutenants to put in for that position, but next week, I believe that concludes, and we will keep the commission apprised of who's interested in that spot. Subsequent promotion process. So again, attached to all that, that does create a vacancy in the department and among our ranks. So we do not have a list for lieutenant promotion in place currently. We will need to, with the commission's approval, fill this position and/or abolish it. If the commission chooses and votes to fill the position, we will contract with our vendor, BadgeQuest, and begin to set up that process. So we would need a formal motion to fill the vacancy lieutenant currently. We do not have, or we do have currently a list of sergeants in place, so once a lieutenant is created from our existing sergeants, we would look to promote from our existing sergeants list as well.
Promote from the existing sergeants. Yeah, okay.
To lieutenant, correct.
Okay.
Well, I make a motion that we look to fill the vacancy that has been because of Lieutenant Aaron Zullo's retirement.
Second.
Anything else we need to know?
I just want to correct myself. Sergeant's list is in existence, no lieutenant's list in existence. The lieutenant's promoted from this new process. A new sergeant would then be chosen from the existing sergeant's list.
All right, any other questions? All those in favor? Okay, start.
Thank you.
That process can start. This is a special meeting, so we have nothing else to add to the agenda. We are going to go into executive session on personnel issues. We will conduct no business or take no votes coming out of it. So the last thing is establish a new next meeting date, which next regularly scheduled meeting is June 19th, which is
I think
3
the regular
weeks.
scheduled one is the 5th, right?
Oh, 5th, but that's,
Yeah.
yes, sorry, correct. I suggest we don't meet a week from now. Does the 19th work for people?
I'm
Yep,
available.
Good for me.
Probably.
Well, why don't we say the 19th? Get on the regularly scheduled and hope that,
Perhaps, can we make it 3? Can we do it a little earlier that day?
we sure can.
3 p.m.
Does that
Is that-
change the regular meeting
Good.
status if we change the time? Yeah.
It does.
Okay.
Well, I would,
I don't think it has an impact on us.
does not, and I would,
Thank you. If you can't do it, you can't do it.
no, no, we
That's-
certainly
that'd be
can.
helpful.
So 3 o'clock on the 19th.
June 19th.
Thank you.
We are adjourned.